This particular teaching is all about the horrible, exhilarating awakening to the fact that you're it. And you see, to get the postmodern self at the leading edge to grapple with this absolute fact, this absolute truth, I am it, is really what this teaching is all about, you know. And it's not theoretical, especially when you really get into it. It's like, and because if you are it, you know, oh my God, really? Then I resign. No. But you can't resign because you're here. See, when you really realize that you can't resign because you are already here. And the point is, either what I'm saying is true or it's not true. Either you are it or you're not. If you're not it, then you can forget everything I've been saying for 3 hours. It doesn't really matter anyway. It's irrelevant. But if you are it, then that means the future depends upon you because you are it. You're the only one who's really in the driver's seat anyway. You're the only one who ever has been. If that's the great, great postmodern awakening or enlightenment, if that's what it is, then you will suddenly feel like on the spot, I'm sure, in a way that you never have in your life. Because you can't possibly be more on the spot than this. That's about as on the spot as any human being could ever be, for you actually to be it. See? And that's when the stakes get about as big as they can possibly be. That's when the ego experiences literally an absolute threat to its dominance or dominion over the vehicle, which is what this is. And that's when yourself, at the level of the soul, sees its biggest challenge. Am I willing to embrace, you know, the ultimate challenge of being the only one who can possibly take this next step because it really is on my shoulders? Am I willing to be that heroic? Am I really being willing to be the one to create the future? Am I willing to transcend the individual and collective ego and narcissism and all the inherent materialistic and narcissistic values that are part and parcel of that worldview? Am I willing to make any and all effort to step beyond all that so I can authentically be that one without a second that I am in order to create the future or not? And then what you're faced with is a moral dilemma. And then your spiritual practice or your relationship life gets really real. Because in terms of seeing all this as process, it's one of the very unique things I've been trying to do with this teaching for a long time. And to be completely honest with you, up until only very recently, most of the people who have been my students haven't understood it. Because it's when you get the individual to begin to grapple with the inherently moral implications of being a cosmocentrically aware and awakened human being at the beginning of the 21st century, you know, the evolutionary tension, which is the evolutionary tension that's experienced, is awe-inspiring. It's overwhelming. The ego doesn't want to have anything to do with it. The ego says, "Leave me alone. I want to go back to my own life. I have my own problems already. What are you dumping the future of the cosmos on my own shoulders for?" That's how the ego feels about it, which is true. But that's when you see that. But that's when the evolving self can begin to authentically discern the difference between what it means to be a world-centrically aware, awake individual versus one who's cosmocentrically awake and aware in a way that's not merely cognitive. Then you begin to experience emotionally, psychologically, and existentially, and at any and every other level of yourself, what you're actually dealing with here, what you're faced with, which is the future of this whole process.